Hi everybody, Joel here with a tropical update for today. Of course, Monday, August the 24th, 2020. What shall we find and what does it look like? Before I get going with Marco or Laura, I want to tell everyone, I hate to report this, but 13 as of now have died in Hispaniola from Tropical Storm Laura. And in Jamaica, it was hit hard. Rain, flooding rains. People are in trouble there. It's just a mess in Jamaica. And once again, 13 have died in Hispaniola from Tropical Storm Laura. Now, let's check out from the National Hurricane Center. Marco here. The winds are 50 miles per hour. The minimum central pressure 1,006 millibars. It's located at 28.5 north, 88.5 west. It's moving north-northwest at around 8 miles per hour. Now, all these people got to get their weather videos up too, huh? Now, we do see, right in this area, all these clouds around the panhandle of Florida, also moving up into Alabama. You see the center of Marco is still well offshore. Now, you might be saying, well, why is all these clouds, if the center's way over here, going up in these other areas? Well, that's because strong southwesterly shear. Remember earlier, days and days ago, I told you once anything got in this little area right here in a certain length of time, the shear was going to be something, and that's what's happening right now, folks. It took a toll on Marco, and the edge of the nearest deep convection now displaced about 50 nautical miles northeast of the exposed circulation center. That's why you got all these clouds going up into the panhandle, some even over to Georgia. You can see here we have some into Alabama. And they will track on across into parts of lower Mississippi Panhandle, maybe even up a little higher, and of course over portions of Louisiana. Then look out for this area of Texas. Whatever's left of Marco, that's where it's going to go. Now, once again, why are the clouds over here in the center over here? It's that shear wind, and that shear wind is pushing the clouds that do have rain in them right now. It's pushing the clouds in these vicinities. Be aware of waterspouts around Florida, tornadoes around Florida. Could be some tornadoes in Alabama, later on in Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. So keep this in mind, okay? Now, this shear wind, it's not going to let up, folks, okay? And it's looking like that the simulated satellite imagery that we're looking at right now in the GFS and European models suggest Marco will degenerate into a remnant low Tuesday. How about that? It's going to die right out just like I told you it would. Now, it's looking like the latest National Hurricane Center forecast is nearing the various consensus aids, which show the cyclone weakening to a tropical depression late tonight. How about that? And based on the updated intensity forecast, tropical storm conditions are no longer expected to be produced by Marco over the central portions of the Louisiana coast. And tropical storm warnings for those locations have been discontinued. Now, when I say no tropical storm things going on, this is for the central areas, way up here. I am not talking about right around the edge. Right around the edges here, all of this will continue with watches and warnings. So keep that in mind, okay? Now, when we look up the coordinates that are from the National Hurricane Center, it's looking like the highest wind that should hit any inland areas is around 40 miles per hour, and they should happen in the next 12 hours. Looks like it's going to be somewhere right around in this area here. So then it's going to bounce back off and go on out, and by 24 hours from now it'll be a post-tropical remnant. 35-mile-per-hour winds. By 48 hours it'll have 30-mile-per-hour winds. It'll just be a post-tropical remnant low. But for the most higher winds and wind gusts, when it does hit any portions of land, it should be in these areas right in here at around 40 miles per hour. Right while I'm doing these coordinates maps, let's throw in Laura right quick. Now, according to the National Hurricane Center, now, the intensity's still up in the air, folks, okay? And Laura hasn't got in the Gulf yet. So this is just what it's looking like now. The intensity, I do believe, is going to be more than what this is for today, okay? I think it has a very good chance of being a Category 2 hurricane, and I do think there is that possibility it could still have that chance to become a Category 3 major hurricane. But as it is right now, here it looks like the most intensity of the highest winds will be. That's probably in about 60 hours from now at 105-mile-per-hour winds. This is sustained winds. You can see it's still out in the Gulf. Hadn't got close to coming in anywhere. We have Galveston here, Beaumont here, Lake Charles over here, nowhere close, New Orleans. It's over here, folks, okay? Now, whenever it hits land, inland, it's probably going to come up just like I showed you the other day, or told you, in this vicinity here, and then move off. It could jog either way. It still could get closer to Texas and come in. It still could get over in this area of Louisiana and come in. But this is just what it's looking like from the National Hurricane Center now. When the winds go inland, at least, Category 1 hurricane strength, 75, could be more, as I'm telling you. Maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. Looking like it's going to be around this area, right in here around Anacoca, Louisiana. Is going to come up right around this area here. I'm still thinking Port Arthur or Belmont. Could come up a little over here, though, like we've seen. And this is the coordinates from the National Hurricane Center. Right quickly, let's see what some of the wave heights is looking like that Marco is producing at this time. This is the latest update. As you can see here, the timestamps right in here. This is from NOAA, and you see that these wave analyses are measured in feet. So let's see if we can get this to move down a little bit, and we'll get down here, and we can see what's going on. Oh, wow, 25 feet waves down, still off of the Louisiana coast. But we've got anywhere. Here's the Florida Panhandle. I know it's kind of hard to see. They've got only 4 feet waves over here. But when you get closer over to the Alabama Panhandle, as of right now, this is where everything's looking like it's at, going over towards Mississippi. And it's still out in the water. 25 feet waves. Now, as this moves out, they turn to 12, 9, 7, and 6, as you can see. But 25 feet waves, that's a pretty good bunch height for the waves, so please don't be out in the water now, for goodness sakes, like I've told everyone for days. Now, as we take a look at Laura on the satellite, you can see right here, we'll check our winds now. The winds have died down a little bit, and why has this happened? It's degraded a little bit since yesterday. And there's been a recent increase in convection near the center and a large band over the southern periphery of the circulation. Now, it has gone down in strength, about 5 miles per hour. Right now, 60-mile-per-hour winds. The pressure's 1,002 millibars. It's located at 21.2 north, 80.6 west. It's moving west-northwest at 20 miles per hour. Its strength has, or I should say its speed of moving has come down around 1 mile per hour since yesterday, and that's simply because it encountered the areas of Cuba here. But at the same time, the eye is still staying offshore. That is never good. Just think about Isaias. Remember what happened up here in Florida? It stayed, just the eye and the center of circulation stayed offshore the whole time. The whole time. That's why we had these watches and warnings up right around the coastline. Never got really, really, really bad because it stayed like this, okay? But as I was telling you earlier, poor Jamaica, look at there. Jamaica went right through all of this heavy, heavy, heavy rain. It's a mess in Jamaica with rain and flooding and mudslides and everything else. Once again, 13 people have died in Hispaniola. And folks, we got 98 more days of hurricane season to go. Now, it's looking like what Laura's going to do is pass over a very warm water of the extreme northwestern Caribbean Sea, just south of the coast of Cuba today. That's what should happen today. Now, some modest strengthening is possible before the center moves over the western portion of Cuba this evening. Now, this is expected. It has died down. I don't think it'll die down a whole lot more. It may die down a little bit more. I don't think it will, but it could. But it's going to strengthen back up, folks. And when this happens in the evening, when it passes over the western portion of Cuba, then Laura looks like when she's going to finally emerge over the southeastern Gulf of Mexico overnight, where a combination of this warm sea surface temperatures and favorable upper level environments, that's just going to allow for steady strengthening. Okay? Keep that in mind. Now, given the very conductive upper level wind patterns, it's looking like these wind patterns are depicted now, I want to tell you, by the global models, and a period of rapid intensification and strengthening is possible once Laura reorganizes an inner core after its passage over western Cuba. That's a clue. We have to wait and see when this inner core develops. When it does, that's when Laura will take off in strengthening. Now, all of the regional hurricane models remain quite bullish in intensification. The GFS, the UK Met models indicate significant deepening while Laura moves over the Gulf of Mexico. Now, the statistical guidance models is not as aggressive. So, when we go over and look at the model here for the tracking and stuff and intensity stuff from the National Hurricane Forecast Center, it's agreeing with the intensity consensus, the age that lie between the higher solutions and the regional models. And they're really relying on the ship models and the LGEM guidance models. So there's a little clue for you right there. Some of the ship models, I'm not going to show all this stuff right now. I've checked it all. Some of them have it at a Category 3. Okay? Now, some of them don't, but a lot of the ship models do, and the LGEM has it at a high Category 2. So it's going to intensify, folks. You need to get ready. Now, Laura's been moving steady on this west-northwestward track over the past day or so, and the initial motion should stay the same. What's going to happen? Here's another key. We got a deep layer ridge over the western Atlantic that's forecast to build westward over the eastern Gulf of Mexico during the next day or so. Now, when this happens, it should keep Laura on the west-northwest heading through Tuesday. I wish these things would quit popping up, folks. I cannot help it. Now, after this happens, a mid to upper level trough over the south-central United States should produce a break in the ridge over the western Gulf of Mexico. Laura then should turn northwestward Tuesday night in response to the break in the ridge, and the storm is expected to reach the northwestern Gulf Coast Wednesday night. So, I'm telling you, folks, anywhere right up in here. Here's Laura. Laura can come up right through here. Laura can jog a little here and come right up through here. The winds, you see this, Laura's a big storm. Marco's a little teeny weeny storm compared to Laura right now. And when Laura intensifies, the winds are going to go out 150 to 200 miles. So even if it comes up here, if I lived in Texas, I'd be preparing right in this area here, okay? I'd say at least from Beaumont to Houston. No matter what, don't pay attention to the track. It's going to jog around some. We all know this. We can't pinpoint exactly the location it's going to happen in. It's still out around Cuba. But what we can do is go ahead and prepare, because, folks, Laura does look like she could be a very significant hurricane. Whether she's a Cat 3 or whether she's a Cat 2 or whether she's a Cat 1, it only takes one to make a lot of sorrow for a lot of people. And Laura is full of rain. Flooding is going to occur. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you to all my old faithfuls. You know I love you. If you're into the weather, daily forecast, severe weather, tropical weather, anything pertaining to the weather that might put you in danger or you need to know about, I put it up, folks. Please click subscribe, click the bell, and please make sure all is checked off, because if you don't do that, you won't receive my video updates as I put them out. That's a YouTube thing. Please do that. I would greatly appreciate it. Here is the tracking map from the National Hurricane Center on Marco right now. Now, remember I told you that the tropical storm warnings were discontinued for a certain area? Well, you can see right up, I said the central sections. And they are only the tropical storm warnings around the very, very edges of Louisiana and the panhandle of Mississippi. It should be a depression, just remnants of a depression as it moves along by tomorrow morning. So whatever you guys in these areas here are going to get out of Marco, you're going to get it today and this evening, because by tomorrow it's going to be just a big rainmaker as it heads to Texas. Now, as we look at the track for Tropical Storm Laura from the National Hurricane Center, I would like to remind everyone before we go into detail here to make sure to click Show More right below this video. Any watches, warnings on either of these systems that's going on, anything you need to know and be aware of, that is where the information will be posted. I don't want to go over everything. It makes the video too long. Now, as you can see, still, look at this wind field. This brown is the wind field. You can see where the wind, how far the wind goes out now. You can see, I've already showed you the cloud and all the rain that's going to come with it. We do have tropical storms warned up right now in all the areas of the blue, as you can see. And on the satellite you saw it has moved up, and Jamaica's looking clear now, and the Dominican Republic right in this area. Everybody in those areas now are Laura's past. It's cleanup time and help time. But the track does go up, and by Tuesday, like I said, when these ridges form and lift and everything I've just told you, it should turn into a hurricane. Now, they're keeping it at a Category 1 at this time. Let's wait and see if these things changes before we go off the deep end. I think they will, though. So, just stay calm, folks. But I am just telling you also, anywhere in this cone, the National Hurricane Center will tell you, not just me, anywhere in this cone area, this can bounce back and forth. My main concern is where it comes in inland, and I think it's going to be mighty close, the border lines of Texas and Louisiana, right on the borders, okay? So this wind field then is going to spread like this. So people in Texas, you're going to get a lot of rain. You're probably going to get some wind, maybe not the full brunt of it. The center does not have to go over you for you to have tropical storm and hurricane conditions. That's my point. I hope everybody's prepared. I'm sure you are. Laura is a stubborn thing all the way up into Arkansas as a depression, and then a depression remnant all the way over in Virginia, and bringing rain to Tennessee, Kentucky, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Virginia, and from everything I've gone over, looks like it will go off the coast of Virginia, and there's still going to be rain and wind gust in it. Quick check of what may come of the rain. It could increase. It might stay like this. We're just going to have to wait and see, but where you see this color, 6 to 10 inches of rain. I've seen some models say 15, okay? Where it's yellow, 4 to 6 inches of rain. And where it's green, you can get 2 to 4 inches of rain. So looking like lots and lots and lots of rain from Laura. And as I said, this could bounce around, and this could spread more to Texas. It could stay where it is, or it might move. I don't think it's going to move any more to the east, though. If anything, it's going to move a little more to the west or stay exactly like it is. And that's a check of the tropical update for now, folks. Be aware, be safe. I'll keep my eyes on everything for you and track this on through. And hopefully, we'll have a short update later this evening. It's time to prepare. Check on the elderly, check on the handicapped, check on your neighbors, period, and make sure your pets are having a safe place to weather these storms, because this is the 98th day we have left. We have 98 more days left of hurricane season, and the peak hasn't got here yet. This is like a preview of what's to come, so stay safe, my friends. Have a good day, a safe day, and a blessed day. I love you all, and I do thank each and every one of you for your donations for the work that I put into this. I will thank you for watching my videos. I thank you for sharing my videos, which is so important to help me keep people aware and safe if any of this weather is coming their way. Peace, love, and kindness to each and every one of you. Thanks for watching.